Every hobby needs a cult favorite at the entry point to get people excited about. In our case, watches collecting as a hobby, we need an accessible, generally quite likable and well-respected watch. The Seiko SKX007 fits the description perfectly, and with us is a CADISEN homage of that almost iconic watch. Iconic for the history, though in essence the SKX007 is as ubiquitous as it is functional, and this CADISEN homage follows the tradition with key artifacts to make its point. Take the 316L stainless steel case and bracelet. The Jubilee style bracelet, mind you, with 5 individual elements, warranting an expensive look and a comfortable fit with the links wrapping around your wrist very organically. We get sapphire crystal and a 2.5 times magnification cyclops at the 3 o'clock position. A prominent, dual-colored and high bezel. 200 meters of water resistance manifested from a screwed case back and crown. And of course, a self-winding Seiko NH35A automatic movement. Now, for all of this splendor, because, well, it is splendor, isn't it? We get a lot of high quality materials on this watch, and it's packaged together in a very interesting and smart looking package. I have paid $65 for this watch, and I've left the links to the listing in the description below the video, so make sure to check it out if you're after a sharp price. So now I think we have quite a lot to talk about with this watch. It's not all perfect, but a lot of it is very close to perfect. So let's get into this comprehensive review and discuss the watch in detail. In regards to the dimensions, we get a diameter of 40 mm, a lug-to-lug length of 45.8 mm, which is possible due to the inverted end links. We get a lug width of 20 mm, a height of 12.4 mm, but that is without the cyclops. With the cyclops, we get 13.9 mm, and the weight of 140 grams before removing any links. Now, in order to fit the watch on my 6.5-inch wrist, I've had to remove a few links, and now the weight comes down to 122 grams. If we look at my wrist, we can see how good the watch sits. Again, this does come down to the very modest lug-to-lug measurement of 45.8 millimeters. Also, the height of 12.4 makes it a very comfortable and easy to love wear. It doesn't catch on any sleeves of any shirts, jumpers, or so forth. Now, if we look at the case profile, we see 2 distinct layers of the watch. The rounded and fluid basin supporting the tall bezel. The case flanks are mirror polished, evenly and consistently. The case walls transition to the lug hoods via smooth and rounded bevels. The lug hoods actually get a fine radial brushing style, circling the 120-click unidirectional bezel. It's a narrower girth than on the contemporary divers, reminding us of the original SKX aesthetics. The ceramic bezel insert actually is dual color, so we get the black on top and a rich blue on the bottom. It also gets the 0 to 60 minute markings printed on it. I found it particular that there is no pip of any kind. Even the 0 position triangle is not illuminated. But we'll talk about it when we get to the Lume test. The bezel is tall with a wide threading. I find the grooves not being too deep, and even if the edges are mirror polished, there is sufficient grip, if not simply due to the large surface area under the fingertips due to the height of the bezel edge. Now, in regards to this bezel action, I think I need to point something out. So you can hear it's rattly, but I did say it's okay, and this lukewarm comment is due to a number of reasons. So let me go through some of the likes that I have about this bezel and some of the dislikes. I like the fact that the sound during the rotation is steely and ratchety. I like the control and precision during the rotation cycle as well. The resistance is consistent and sufficient. But there are some buts here. There is some playback between the clicks. They're not major, but the playback is there. But the overall feel of the bezel is not as solid as I would like. It feels like it's more of a decoration rather than a function of a utilitarian tool watch. That is not a deal breaker here, but it's just something of a personal peeve that I had to mention. Moving to the right side of the watch case, CADISEN presents integrated crown guards, protecting a signed, medium-sized 6.2mm screw-in crown. On the case back, we have a vanilla looking screwed case back with the specs on the perimeter. The bracelet is a definitive win on the CADISEN timepiece though. The inverted end links provide the modest lug-to-lug length of just 45.8 millimeters. Of the 5 rows of elements in the bracelet, the outer and center elements get a fine vertical brushing style, while the 2 element rows on either side of the center links are mirror polished. The bracelet edge faces are also polished. The resulting light play and reflections make this tool watch much more exciting to look at. With the clasp, there's nothing to write home about. It's signed, there are 3 micro adjustments, but it's pressed and feels average at best. The saving grace of the bracelet is the look as well as the fluidity of the bracelet links and the befitting brushing and polishing styling. On top of the watch, we get a slab of sapphire crystal, just a smidge above the bezel. In addition, we also get anti-reflective coating for excellent legibility. Now, the dial here is a very special place, and when you look at it, you actually do start to appreciate the watch much more. Well, I think it's very tough to not appreciate a piece for 65 bucks. That's automatic, gets sapphire glass, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, let me tell you all about this dial. The slanting inwards rehaut gets the printed minute chaptering. Now, it's also in the same deep blue color as the dial. While on the glossy blue dial, we get applied indices, dabbed with lume and edged in chrome. The high contrasting hands, white date dial and indices against the sunburst blue dial works just fine. As a result, the dial is very legible. There's plenty of contrast here. I particularly like the word automatic above the 6 o'clock position. The cursive font is so elegant and beautiful. It's almost an idiosyncrasy on this tool watch. It's just this watch is a rugged utilitarian tool watch, but we get this really nice bracelet, Jubilee style bracelet with individual links. We get the mirror polish mixed up with the brush styling, and now we get this beautiful automatic word in this cursive text, which is, again, there's just so much elegance, which adds a very interesting flair to this watch. So to summarize, somehow there are elements on this watch which make it more classy and a bit more spicy than just a tool watch. And now let's do a quick lume test. We get BGW9 lume here, and it's evenly applied across the indices and the hands. You'll notice the lume lollipop of the seconds counterbalance stretching almost as far as the hour hand. And now to the peculiarity of the missing lumed pip on the bezel. Is that an oversight or a planned diversion? I think we can agree that it's an oversight, and let's leave it at that. The bluish lume is nice and the longevity is decent for the price paid. Yet, I'd like it to be slightly more bright. So let's summarize. For $65, I am stressing this price point because we are getting a very beautiful watch. It homages an iconic design, but it adds a bit of that class and a bit of elegant spice, if there is such a spice. I don't know what it is, but it's just, this tool watch is actually looking classy, and it's looking classy with top class materials for under 100 bucks. Impressive, to say the least. Now, I've left the link to the listing I got this watch from in the description below the video. Make sure to check it out if you're after a sharp price. I hope you have enjoyed this review. I hope you found it useful. If you have, drop me a like. If you want to see more of the same, please hit the red subscribe button. And yeah, thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.